Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a massive collection of stories about cheaters getting caught and serving up some cold, hard revenge. From smart home traps to wedding day disasters, these stories will make you glad you're single. Get comfortable, grab a snack, and let's dive into the first story. So, I'm a tech guy. My entire house is smart. Lights, locks, cameras, the works. My wife Lisa always joked that living with me was like living in a sci-fi movie. We'd been married for 5 years and things were great. Or so I thought. Last month, I was away on a business trip in Seattle. I was bored in my hotel room, scrolling through my phone, when I got a notification. Living room motion detected, 2 a.m. I figured it was the cat. But then I checked the router bandwidth. Someone was streaming 4K video on the TV at 2 a.m. Lisa usually passes out by 10 p.m. I texted her, "Hey babe, you up late?" She replied instantly, "Just sleeping, honey. Miss you." Sleeping? While streaming Netflix? Weird. But I didn't want to be paranoid. Maybe she fell asleep with the TV on. When I got home, the vibe was off. Lisa was guarding her phone like it was the nuclear launch codes. She changed her password. She started taking long showers with the water running, but no sound of splashing. So I checked the house logs. Smart locks keep a history. Tuesday, front door unlocked via app, guest user. 11:30 p.m. I never set up a guest user. I realized she had created a temporary key for someone. I felt sick. The next week, I told her I had another trip for emergency server maintenance. She looked relieved. "Oh, poor baby. Don't worry about me." I drove to the airport, parked, and Ubered right back to a hotel down the street. I sat there with my laptop, watching the live feed from the hidden camera in the smoke detector. At 10 p.m., a BMW pulled up. A guy got out. I recognized him immediately. It was my brother. My own brother. I watched as she opened the door and jumped into his arms. I turned off the feed before I threw up. I didn't storm in. I waited until they were asleep. Then I initiated Protocol Nightmare. At 3 a.m., I turned every light in the house to strobe mode, red and blue. I blasted Baby Shark at maximum volume on every speaker in every room. I locked the smart doors so they couldn't open from the inside. Then I used the intercom feature. My voice boomed through the house like the voice of God. "Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Lisa. I'm live streaming this to Mom and Dad right now." Smile. I wasn't actually live streaming, but the panic on their faces was priceless. Dave tried to run out the back door, tripped over the Roomba, and broke his nose. Lisa was screaming. I divorced her. I cut off my brother. Last I heard, the family Thanksgiving was extremely awkward because nobody invited them. Technology keeps you honest, folks.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
You know those Ancestry DNA kits? Never buy those. Just don't. I bought one for my dad as a gag gift. He's always been proud of his 100% Italian heritage. He talks about it constantly. The pasta, the loud talking, it's his whole personality. I thought it would be funny to see if he was actually 5% Irish or something. We sent the spit tube in. 6 weeks later, I got the email. Results? 50% British Isles, 40% Scandinavian, 10% Eastern European, 0% Italian. I was confused. Maybe the lab mixed up the samples? I called my mom. "Mom, the test is weird. It says Dad isn't Italian at all." There was a terrified silence on the phone. "Don't show him," she whispered. "Delete the email." My stomach dropped. "Mom, what are you talking about?" She begged me to drop it, but I couldn't. I looked at the DNA relatives section. My dad had a match, a parent/child match, but it wasn't me. It was a user named Mark_D_1980. My dad doesn't have a son named Mark. I drove to my parents' house immediately. I sat them down. My dad was excited, asking about the results. My mom looked like she was at a funeral. I handed the paper to my dad. He frowned. "What is this junk? This is wrong." Then I showed him the match. "Dad, who is Mark?" My mom burst into tears. And then the truth came out. It wasn't just an affair. It was a disaster. Turns out my Italian dad wasn't my biological dad. My mom had an affair with her boss 25 years ago. My dad raised me thinking I was his, but it gets worse. The Mark guy? That was my dad's son, from a different affair he had 20 years ago. Neither of them knew about the other's secret, until I bought a $99 plastic tube. The screaming match lasted for 6 hours. Dishes were thrown. They are getting divorced now after 30 years. I'm currently in therapy trying to figure out who I am. And Mark? I messaged him. He's actually a cool guy. We're getting coffee next week. So yeah, if you think your family is boring, keep it that way. Some secrets are meant to stay buried.
Wow, that was crazy. Here is story number 3.
My husband Greg and I were a power couple. I'm a corporate lawyer, he's in finance. We worked 80-hour weeks, but had the penthouse and the cars. I thought we were building an empire. Then, Greg got a massive promotion and started acting like the Wolf of Wall Street. He hid his phone, bought new suits, and went to networking drinks 5 nights a week. I'm a lawyer. I deal with evidence. Greg is an idiot with paper trails. I found a receipt in his jacket pocket. Cartier. A $5,000 bracelet. I don't wear bracelets. They annoy me. Greg knows this. I didn't confront him. I checked his LinkedIn. He had a new assistant, a 22-year-old graduate named Tiffany. I checked Tiffany's Instagram, and there it was. A photo of a Cartier bracelet on her wrist. Caption, "Best boss ever, #blessed." I scrolled down. Photos of them at networking drinks. Photos of them in Miami. He was using our joint account to fund his midlife crisis. We had a strict prenup. If he cheated, he walked away with nothing. But I needed undeniable proof. Greg's firm has a strict no fraternization policy. Sleeping with a subordinate is an instant firing offense. Also, Greg was closing a massive merger. If a scandal broke, the deal would tank. The day before his big closing, his company had a gala. I went with him. I wore my best dress. I walked up to the CEO, Arthur. "Arthur, lovely to see you," I said. "Greg wanted me to give you this. He's too shy." I handed him a manila envelope. Inside wasn't a gift. It was a printed log of Greg's corporate expenses showing the hotels and jewelry, cross-referenced with Tiffany's Instagram posts. Arthur opened it. His face went pale. He looked at Greg, then at Tiffany. I walked out, got in my Porsche, and drove to a hotel. By the next morning, Greg was fired, the merger was paused, and my lawyer served him divorce papers. Because of the morality clause, he lost his severance. He's currently living in a studio apartment. Don't mess with a lawyer.
Well, they definitely got what they deserved. Next story.
I, 21F Medi, date a guy named Kyle who is obsessed with gaming. He thinks he's going to be the next big streamer. He has 50 viewers but acts like he's famous. I supported him. I bought him a headset, brought him snacks, modded his chat. But Kyle had a bad habit of forgetting to mute his mic. Last Saturday I was at work. I got a notification that Kyle went live, so I tuned in to lurk. He was playing Call of Duty. He thought he was in a private Discord call, but he was broadcasting audio. I heard his friend ask, "Yo, how's things with Sarah?" Kyle laughed. A nasty, cruel laugh. "Bro, she's so clingy. I'm literally just with her until I can afford my own place. Plus, I've been talking to this girl Kitty Cat on Discord. She's way hotter. I'm gonna dump Sarah as soon as rent is due." I froze. I felt like I got punched. He was using me for rent and talking trash about me to his followers. I went home. He was still streaming. He didn't hear me come in because of his noise-canceling headphones. I walked into the gaming room. He saw me and smiled. "Hey babe, can you get me a monster?" I smiled back. "Sure." I walked over to his PC tower. I looked him dead in the eye, and I pulled the power cord. The stream died instantly. "Yo, what are you doing? I was in a ranked match," he screamed. "You're worried about your rank?" I asked. "You should be worried about where you're sleeping." I threw a laundry basket at him. "Kitty Cat isn't here to pay your rent, Kyle. Get out." He tried to say it was just locker room talk, but I kicked him out. He had to move back in with his mom. The funniest part? Someone clipped that moment from his stream and posted it on TikTok. It got 2 million views. He's now known as the Mooch online. Career over before it started. GG, Kyle.
Okay, let's keep going. Story number 5.
My wedding was supposed to be perfect. I spent 2 years planning it. My fiance Ryan was my high school sweetheart. The night before the wedding, I was in the hotel room with my bridesmaids. My phone buzzed. An unknown number sent me a series of screenshots. It was a conversation between Ryan and my maid of honor, Jessica. Dates, times, I love yous, nudes. Jessica was sitting 3 feet away from me drinking champagne, helping me with my veil. My world shattered. I showed my friends the phone. The room went silent. My first instinct was to cancel. But then I looked at Jessica laughing at her phone. Something inside me snapped. "We are not canceling," I said. "We are going to have this wedding." My friends thought I was crazy. "You can't marry him." "Oh, I'm not marrying him," I said. "I'm ending him." The next day, I walked down the aisle. I looked stunning. Jessica was standing there holding my flowers, looking like an angel. The priest did his part. Then it was time for vows. Ryan read his. "I promise to love you, cherish you." Lies. Then it was my turn. "I, Emily, take you, Ryan." I paused. I looked out at the 200 guests. "Actually," I said into the microphone, "I have a different set of vows today." I pulled out my phone. "I vow to ask you why you sent this message to Jessica last night at 11 p.m. I read the text. "She's so annoying. I wish I was in bed with you instead of pretending to care about this wedding." The crowd gasped. Ryan turned pale. Jessica dropped my bouquet. "And I vow to ask Jessica why she sent this photo." I turned the phone to the crowd. "There will be no wedding today," I announced. "But the open bar is paid for. Enjoy the party. I'm going on my honeymoon alone." I dropped the mic and walked out. Ryan and Jessica are now social outcasts. They deserve each other.
This next one is just wild. Listen to this.
My girlfriend, Kayla, borrowed my truck last weekend. She said she was helping her sister move furniture. I filled up the tank for her. She came back Sunday night, looking exhausted, and said the move was brutal. Monday morning, I got in the truck. I noticed the passenger seat was moved all the way back. Kayla is 5 feet 2 inches. I got a weird feeling. Then I remembered I have a dash cam that records cabin audio. I pulled the SD card and ran to my computer. I skipped through the footage. Saturday, 2 p.m. She wasn't at her sister's. She was pulling into a motel. A guy walked out. My best friend, Mike. He hopped in the passenger seat. "Hey, baby," Mike said on the recording. "Did you tell him?" Kayla laughed. "No, he thinks I'm moving a couch. He's so clueless." They drove to the motel entrance. They spent the weekend there, in my truck, using my gas. I watched the whole thing in cold rage. I didn't confront them. I waited for Friday night poker. Mike was there, drinking my beer. Kayla was bringing snacks. I said, "Hey guys, check out this funny video." I cast the dash cam footage to the big TV. The room went silent. Mike choked on his beer. The video played the part where they called me clueless on a loop. I looked at Mike. "Get out." He ran. Then I looked at Kayla. "You too. You can walk to your sister's." We broke up. The friend group exiled Mike. Never forget, the dash cam sees everything.
Moving right along to the next story.
I, 30M, have been dating Ashley for 6 months. Last week, she sat me down with a serious look and pulled out a positive pregnancy test. "We're going to be parents," she squealed. She talked about names and nurseries. I sat there frozen. I forced a smile and hugged her. Wow, that's a miracle. Because it literally was a miracle. See, Ashley didn't know one tiny detail. 3 years ago, I had a vasectomy. I am 100% sterile, shooting blanks. There is 0 chance that baby is mine. But I didn't tell her right away. I wanted to see how far she would take it. I played along. I casually asked, "Babe, Are you sure it's mine? We used protection. She got defensive immediately. How dare you? Of course it's yours. That weekend, we had dinner with her parents. Halfway through dessert, Ashley stood up. We have an announcement. I'm pregnant. Her mum screamed with joy. Her dad shook my hand. Welcome to the family. I stood up too. I cleared my throat. Actually, I said loud enough for everyone to hear, I have an announcement too. I had a vasectomy in 2021. So, unless Ashley is the Virgin Mary, that baby isn't mine. The silence was deafening. Her dad dropped his fork. Ashley turned pale. Her mum looked at her. Ashley, is this true? Ashley burst into tears and ran out. Her dad apologized to me and asked me to leave. Turns out, it was her ex-boyfriend. Bullet dodged.
That was rough. All right, story number 8.
My wife, Rachel, loved her job. But mostly, she loved her work husband, Gary. She talked about Gary constantly. Gary is so funny. Gary gets me. I tried not to be jealous. But then the late nights started. Inventory, she said. Client meetings, she said. One Tuesday, I decided to surprise her with lunch. The receptionist looked at me weirdly. Oh, Rachel? She's out for lunch with Gary at the Italian place. That place is romantic, not a quick lunch spot. I drove there and saw them in the window. They were holding hands. Then Gary leaned in and kissed her. On the lips. My heart shattered. I didn't storm in. I took high-res photos. I went home and did some research. Gary is married with 3 kids. His wife Linda posts about their perfect family on Facebook. I felt bad for Linda. She deserved to know. I created a fake profile and messaged Linda the photos. Your husband's business lunch. Then I packed Rachel's bags. When she came home, she saw the suitcases. What's going on? She asked. Gary's wife knows, I said. And now you know that I know. Get out. Her phone started blowing up. Gary panicking. She lost her husband and her job in the same week because HR fired them for the drama.
Let's see what happens in this next one.
I make more money than my boyfriend, Tom. He's a freelance artist, which means he plays video games. I supported him because I loved him. Last month, he told me he needed a break. I'm going on a solo camping trip to find myself, he said. I gave him my credit card for emergencies and gas. A week later, I got an Airbnb notification. A booking for $2,000. Luxury cabin with hot tub. That didn't sound like camping. I logged into the account. The reservation was for 2 guests. In the message to the host, Tom wrote, "Can't wait to celebrate our anniversary with my girlfriend." Our anniversary is in December. It was July. He wasn't finding himself. He was taking another girl on vacation. On my dime. I waited until check-in day. I saw the notification, guests have checked in. I gave them 3 hours to get comfortable in the hot tub. Then I called the host. Hi, I'm the card holder. This booking is fraudulent. Kick them out. The host agreed immediately. 20 minutes later, Tom called me. Babe, the host is kicking us out. Fix it. I know, I said. I hope you enjoyed the hot tub. I changed the locks on the apartment. Don't come back. He was stranded 4 hours away with no money and an angry side chick. Best $2,000 I never spent.
And now for our final story of the evening, guys. My fiancée Sarah always said she hated my family for being greedy. She swore she loved me for me, not my money. For April Fools, I bought a fake lottery ticket that shows a $500,000 win. I scratched it off in the kitchen. "Babe, look!" She ran over, checked the numbers, and started screaming. "We're rich!" Immediately, her demeanor changed. She grabbed her phone. "I'm quitting my job right now!" She called her boss and quit over voicemail. Then she looked at me with dead eyes. "And by the way, we need a prenup. I don't want your family touching my money. Also, I want a bigger ring." I stood there, stunned. In 30 seconds, she turned into a monster. "Sarah," I said quietly, "look at the back of the ticket." She flipped it over. Small print. "Valid for one free hug. Happy April Fools." Her face went white. "This is a joke?" "The ticket is a joke," I said, "but our relationship is the real joke. Get out." She cried. She begged. She said she was just excited. But I saw her true colors. She's currently unemployed and single. Money doesn't change people. It unmasks them. And that's the last story for today. Honestly, some of these people are just wild. If you made it this far, let me know in the comments which revenge was your favorite. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you want more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.